Yo. One below. One man army. Binary star. Subterraneous. Breaking Records Radio. This how we represent. 110%. Let's go.
Hey yo. It's your boy Monster Man Rocco.
It's your boy Swagger Rock.
This is Snack the Ripper.
And you have to go to Don't Know.
Master Ace. You are now rocking with the best. Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records, man.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records Radio. Let's go.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records Radio. Breaking Records, man. Radio is like the place to be. I don't fuck strange music, man.
All right, Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. You know what it is, your host Maloney, and I got a very, very, very special guest with me on the phone right now. He's an MC I've regarded very highly for many years, and I'm just honored to be able to sit here and have some hip-hop dialogue with the man. But we got the one-man army, a.k.a. One Below, of Binary Star in the place to be. What's up, my man?
What up, though? What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yo, man, thanks for reaching out, man. You know, November 7th, 1976, that's life. You know, it's my birthday, so.
Oh, shit, it's your birthday.
Cool. Yeah, so it's cool to, check in, you know what I'm saying, and just be able to, even make that announcement, you know what I'm saying? Just blessed to be here, you know what I'm saying? So, thanks for the show.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Happy birthday, man. Thank you for being with us on your born day, G.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, and so you got, just even off rip before we started, I gotta say, man, you're an MC I've regarded very highly for many years, and, joints like Reality Check, Honest Expression, those two joints, molded me and changed me, you know what I mean? Sorry, I couldn't. Could you hear me?
Yeah. The last thing I heard was a Reality Check.
Okay, yeah. I was just saying, man. You're an MC I've regarded very highly for years, and songs like Reality Check and Honest Expression, those are songs that for 15 years plus, they're still some of my favorite hip hop songs of all time. They really, they hit me at times where I really needed them. The inspiration, just
that's crazy, man. Just being a fan, and just expressing, myself. That's the best way I could put it, really. I mean, of course, I'm MCing, I'm rapping, I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm all of that. But most importantly, just expressing myself. You know what I mean? And the reason why I'm even acknowledging that is because, to do that, in the Bruce Lee clip, it's not easy for a lot of people to do. Because, now people are going to judge you. Do I like you? Do I not like you? Do I like what you said? Do I not like, that shit was corny? Or whatever. So, yeah, man, it's cool when people listen. Because I feel like, man, you feeling like how I really feel. You know what I'm saying? You feeling how... You know what I mean? It's not like I'm putting on a costume or I'm doing it for money or doing it for somebody else's interest. It's like, man, I'm really just, painting the canvas with my thoughts and my ideas and my art and my feelings and my art and, and my tools. And for people to gravitate towards that, man, that's a really big deal, man. I don't care how many people it is or where they come from. That's love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. One thing about that track, I think, is prior to that, I'd never heard a rapper really express their hatred for not hatred, but their frustration with the hip hop they loved becoming something different. I'd never really heard it put out in a song prior to that, even though we all felt that way, whether it be about one thing or another. I think every fan of hip hop has felt that way. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah, man, and
yeah, that's interesting. But that's what I'm saying, and it was for real though. It's funny because right before we put that album out, you know what I mean, we had did a couple years in prison,
Yeah.
And so let's just say I was isolated. I was kind of isolated from the rest of the hip hop world. So when I came home, I was just kind of like, man, what the fuck's happening? And I was honestly thinking. You know what, man? I'm not even sure people want to hear what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's just a different vibe. It was just a different vibe. So it was really like, you know what? Let's just do the shit we love. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, come to find out, yeah, man, hip hop, it's always gonna be, you know, people that gravitate towards real shit. You know, however you define that, real experiences, real artists coming from their environments and repping who they are, repping their scene, repping their culture, repping their block, repping their tribe, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And it's gonna always be people that's gonna gravitate towards that. So I learned a lot about the world through hip hop, because even though I loved hip hop and I believe like this could be for everybody, I kind of really didn't believe that until like, you know, black kids and white kids and Asian kids and Hispanic kids and Latino kids and Native American kids and all these different people started fucking with our shit. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And I'm like, you fool, you got a song that say blacks, whites, Asians. Like, you're shouting out all these people, but it's like, I never could believe that, like, I could even kick it on the University of Michigan campus. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What am I going to say to these white kids, man? What am I going to say? How are these white people going to understand me? That's what I was thinking coming from Pontiac, you know what I mean? But, like, through hip-hop and writing and traveling and meeting other people and working with other artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, we came a long way, man. That's why, you know, I look at this November 7th, and I'm like, man, you know, alhamdulillah, man, I came a long way, man. And so that feedback is awesome, man, but it's just, you know, we all get something from it in a different kind of way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. And one thing, like, you know, because I just turned 30, right? So I caught on Binary Star a little bit later through the internet and stuff, right? Being from Toronto. But, so when I probably heard Honest Expression, it was probably like 2006, 2007, right? But and it really resonated when you're like, my favorite rap groups broke up to turn around and join whack ones. You know what I mean? Because, like, at that time, Mobb Deep had just, like, joined G-Unit and shit. And it was like, so even though it was a different era, it was like, I was dealing with the same shit with, like, the legends I grew up listening to. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like, you're going to do that and you're going to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
So I was kind of curious, like, when you wrote that, who specifically kind of did you have in mind when you're like, damn, like, my favorite groups break up, turn around and join whack one, shit like that?
Yo, man. Who was I talking about at that time?
Yeah, like when you came out, like you're like, damn, like
a lot of times, you know. So who was I? You know, just it could have been. It's a lot of groups that like broke up and started doing stuff that was like different than what you knew them for. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could have been that, you know. And it's not to say that their crews is necessarily whack. You know what I mean? Some people had crews that they had already been a part of, and you just never really heard the crew or whatever. But it's like, you know, a lot of that shit was local too, though. It's not just famous people. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, it's funny because I give you an example. Somebody came to me one time and it was like, yo, like, you dissed KRS-One on that song.
What?
And I'm like, no, I didn't. And it was like, and I was like, no, I didn't. And it was like, yo, you said Puff Ramen on the remix, what's next? And I was like, oh, snap, like, KRS-One do got a song with Puff Ramen on the remix. Now, personally, I didn't think about that when I wrote it. And another thing, too, is KRS-One had an album called What's Next.
Oh,
so I think this person made that kind of relation. This person made that
so
kind of
bad,
relation,
I want to
but
smack
that's not who I was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another thing is, somebody came to me and they was like, you know, on another song, they was like, yo, you was talking about Nas when you said, still ain't big about enough to blow up my bridge spot.
Yeah.
They thought I was talking about Nas, but I didn't even say bridge spot. I said brick spot.
Yeah.
But the point is, people hear shit and they be like, oh, he's talking about this person, he's talking about that person, he's talking about this person. When a lot of times, I am inspired by people, of course. But I would more so think about it like, when I'm inspired by a person, then I turn it into a situation that can kind of like resonate you know, throughout time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, man, and I think
like
you know,
if you diss the president, if you diss the president in office, okay, that's cool. But when he's out of office, that verse is old, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you diss a corrupt president or if you diss a corrupt leader, then every time a corrupt leader comes along, that song is applicable to that leader because you dissing like whack leaders.
Yo,
versus
facts.
Dissing a specific person, and that's kind of what I mean. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yo, that's true, actually. That's well put. And I think that's one thing that makes some of those, like, classic binary records so timeless is exactly that. It's like, because you're coming from such an honest place. You're coming from a place of just expressing yourself. But at the same time, it's not generalized to something specific. It's you've made it more, what's the word I'm looking for? But kind of more an open letter, open statement. Yeah. And that helps it, you know, like, because like I said, I caught the shit like damn near 8 years after you dropped it, and I could relate it to that current time in just what I was dealing with as a fan of hip hop. You know what I mean? And then someone right now, you know, that doesn't like what so-and-so's doing or whatever, like they could play Honest Expression and it could still resonate with them today in 2019.
Yeah, man. Because somebody's going to always feel that. It's like if you talk about being hungry. Okay, maybe you got a job and maybe you got a good career and you eating now, but somebody else is gonna always be hungry. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's how I think about it. You get what I'm saying? It's people, like, we still discovering Bob Marley songs. We still discovering the Beatles. Somebody's still discovering Michael Jackson. Yeah. And 50 years from now, people are gonna still be discovering Michael Jackson. What about Binary Star? What about One Below? You get what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, that's facts, man. I heard you in an interview too. I can't remember who it was with, but you said something along those lines. You're like some artists, they get mad, you know, when it's like, oh, you weren't rocking with me last year. You're like, man, if you just started listening to us yesterday, you just first heard Binary yesterday. Hop on the train, welcome aboard. Like,
yeah, man. Somebody told me that was like, yo, man, so many people sleeping on you, and it's interesting to me when I hear somebody say that because clearly you're not sleeping on me, but like I told this person, I said, yo, people wake up at different times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's all good. It's not, you know, everybody don't have to be awake at the same time. You know what I mean? Like for the machine to work.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is I'm not doing it so 1,000 people can fuck with me or so 2,000 people look so I can brag on that I got more people than you. I'm really just like striving to like create something that only I can create, you know what I mean, and say it in a way that comes from me. I don't want to sound like nobody or be like nobody, and it's not even about wanting to, because I'm already not, you know what I mean? So just being that, and like that's my contribution. And as long as I do it, and people say they still, you know, gravitating toward it, they still booking me for shows, they still hit me up, telling me they listening to it. Like, that's what makes me relevant, at least to those people, you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And most importantly, like, it's a reminder for myself to keep moving in a certain direction, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, 100%. And, like, so I do want to go back and talk a little bit about the first album, too, before we move forward, because you got such an extensive catalog. But, so, you mentioned that you were locked up and then came out, and that kind of was the inspiration of doing, Honest Expression, like the change that you've seen in between that time. But that's also where you met S.O.N.O.G.R.A.M as well, too, right? To start Binary Star?
Actually, no.
Word?
We all went to high school together.
Word, okay.
So, it's funny, man, because, we went to high school together. And then, you know, other shit happened, and we just experienced a lot of things at the same time during that period because we was hanging out all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So were you guys? Had you conceptualized Binary?
I would say, Binary Star. Basically, you know, when we, I like to speak for myself. You know.
Yeah.
During that time. Or should I say right before that, you know, me and a couple of us, we were in a crew. We had a crew. And when I got incarcerated, it was just me and one other person from my crew. And I was telling them, I said, hey, yo, man, like, we're here for a reason. Like, this is a sign. You know what I mean? We got the same amount of time. They put us on the same compound. We here, like, we could be building. Like, this is a sign. That's what it was to me. Because it could have been me and somebody else. You know, some of my homies got killed or murdered while I was locked up. A lot of things could have happened totally different, but that's how it happened, and I took that as a divine sign or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So I was like, "Yo, we got to come up with a name," because the name of our group in high school was the Spooks.
Oh, word.
We were called the Spooks. Spontaneous peoples on other kind of shit.
So you always been doing the acronyms then?
You know, I was like, yeah. Well, that was my guy Malachi. He came up with that shit.
Okay.
But I was like, but my name in high school was Low Fat. Lyrics over fat ass tracks.
Okay,
That's what I
word.
used to call myself in high school, Low Fat. And yeah. So when we got to prison, I was like, yo, man, we got to come up with a name kind of like the Spook, something that like rings a bell, but it's like dope, like, you know. So I went back to my cell. I went back to my cube and I opened up a dictionary. And I was looking through, you know, looking at different words, double, duet, you know, double. And then I went to the B's, bicycle, you know, binary code, binary digit, binary star. And I got the binary star, and I was like, hold up, 2 stars. And I wrote down the definition on a piece of paper. And then when they called the yard, I went back on the yard, and you know, he was sitting at the picnic table, and I just said, "Yo, check this out." And I handed him a piece of paper, and he looked at it, and then he looked at me, and he just shook his head, like, because we both knew, like, that was the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where the name Binary Star came from. But like, what happened in prison? We didn't meet in prison, but what happened is we got put in a situation where we were like there every day, all day. Just there together. It's not like we had to go home or, you know, we had separate lives. We were in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we just kind of got on the same page. And when we came home, yeah, you know, we just started recording. And it wasn't like we was like super dope, but you know, we had to learn. But like, we was in Detroit, we was in Pontiac, we was surrounded by a lot of dope people. So, you know, that really helped us out as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And with when you guys came out too, that's one thing I was curious about as well, because being from Pontiac, I assume you guys were in the Detroit scene a lot coming up and stuff. But like, you know, do you got any like crazy memories? Like, did you ever rock the hip hop shop or anything like that? Like how deep were you in kind of the Detroit roots?
I went to the hip hop shop a couple times. Like we rode out there. This is back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And my boy Malachi, he was like the OG in our crew. He knew about all that stuff that was going on in Detroit, because it really wasn't a hip hop scene in Pontiac.
Yeah.
So Club 248, the Rhythm Kitchen, Spectacles. It was different spots that I knew about just from Malachi. So it's not like I knew Proof, but you know, we knew Proof worked at the hip hop shop. You know what I mean? And like, Jay would always talk about Maurice Malone. You know, some cats from the Zulu Nation was out there. You know, there was, you know, we didn't call him Batan. I knew him as Titus. He used to be like, yo, it's this dude Titus, man. He be rapping in different voices. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
And this is around the time I was like 15. You know what I'm saying? I was like 15, 16. You know, started going out there, and that's actually the Detroit scene. So before I went to Detroit, the only time I really rapped was like in high school, like at the lunchroom. You know, I wasn't really trying to be a rapper. I was like a basketball player, you know what I mean? And my homies, they used to go out to the Rhythm Kitchen. They used to go out to Detroit and to these open mics. So one time I go out there, and this is my first time ever going to a club. I'm like 15 years old.
Oh shit.
Like 1992 or something like that. So when I get inside, you know, I'm 15, but when they let me inside, you know, it's like my first time in the club. You know, it was some, you know, some people up in there b-boying, dancing and shit. It was a strobe light, you know. It was just a different experience. It was real hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the open mic was at midnight. And me and the people I came with, we were like 10 deep, you know what I'm saying? So when we got on the open mic at midnight, imagine 10 people trying to rap on the open mic. So the host, he was kind of like, y'all got to hurry up, man. Y'all got to hurry up and get off, you know? And I'm the youngest dude in the bunch, and I didn't even get to rap yet, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit, yeah.
So after everybody rapped, I went last. And when I started rapping, about 4 bars into my verse, the host of the open mic, he told the DJ to kill the beat. He's like, man, just kill the beat, man. Like, he was trying to get us off stage.
Yeah.
And when they killed the beat, I kept rapping. And I kept rapping, and the fucking crowd went crazy. They started screaming and roaring and all that shit. You know what I mean? And that was my first time ever grabbing the mic. You know what I mean? Like,
say word.
In a club in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So I went home that night, like, feeling myself. Like, oh, shit. Like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the night I was born. But, yeah, man, the Detroit hip-hop scene was always, like, the mecca around here, around there, you know what I mean? And that's no diss to like Pontiac or Flint, Saginaw, Ann Arbor, and all the surrounding places because everybody had their own shit.
Yeah.
But like it's just the fact that in that area, Detroit was the mecca. That's where the shows were. There was a lot of shit going on, especially during that time, you know. And you didn't know that these were some of the dopest cats in the world. But I was feeling like, yo, these dudes are dope, but they're just your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, like I you know, like I think Elzai is dope. I just left his crib. But like back then it wasn't like a whole lot of people knew who he was, but it was like he was like one of the dopest cats to me.
Yeah.
And like I heard Black Milk Beats like in St. Andrews or in the basement, like shit that wasn't even out yet. People that knew other people was rapping on other people's beats. So like the scene, like you had to be super tight to even like stand out at all because everybody can rap. You know what I mean? Everybody in Detroit can rap. You know what I mean? Everybody, like everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got a really rich scene down there, man. A lot of history.
Yeah, man. And then us coming from Pontiac, I knew they wasn't gonna hand me shit, so I had to go down there kicking in the door.
Yeah.
Not on some super gangster shit, just on some super ill shit, just on some super dope shit, whatever that means. You know, just authentic. Like I wasn't trying to go to Detroit sounding like I was from Detroit or trying to sound like I was from New York, you know, or even trying to sound like I was from Pontiac. Really, just having my own sound, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, I mean, I think that's what hip-hop always was about. Like, you know, I listened to a lot of artists coming from New York, but, like, Boot Camp Click didn't sound like Tribe. Tribe didn't sound like LL. LL didn't sound like Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane didn't sound like he was in Wu-Tang. They always some of them dudes was from the same neighborhood, but they had totally different sounds.
Yeah, that's facts.
And that was my understanding. That was always, even if you was in a crew, it was like it's only one Busta Rhymes in the crew. It's only one Q-Tip in the crew. It's only one Old Dirty Bastard in the crew. You can't have 3 of them.
Yeah.
You got to get your own shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. And
that's where, you know, that's the whole concept of, like, one below. Just being that one person. And, like, but also being an underground dude, but also being, like, cold with that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also being a one-man army if I gotta be, you know, and just carrying all of these traits, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And so that's and like so back in those days too, then that's when you and Elzai would have linked up originally, right? Because you guys have worked together over the years, but you guys had him on KGB on the first album.
It's like back in those days I would go kick it with, you know, different people in the D. Sometimes I would go build with Lax. Sometimes I would drive out and kick it with Elzai. Sometimes I would go, you know, we was always bumping the cats like at St. Andrews on Friday and hanging out afterwards or whatever. But like some of those one-on-one sessions at the crib where like, you know, people would be playing like beats they was writing to, or we would be listening to Dilla beats, or we would be listening to beats like songs that, like I think a lot of those Broken Frame songs that came out later, like I had heard those when they was just on cassette tapes. So like a lot of Breakfast Club shit when I was just learning about Dwelle and that kind of stuff. what I'm saying is I wasn't hearing that in Pontiac, but when I would go out there, I would kick it with certain cats, and they would just be playing shit, and I wasn't even really playing a lot of music. I was just absorbing a lot, just absorbing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And vibing, and freestyling, and just going back and forth and building. And so it wasn't really one person. It was like if you could get up and get out. Like me, I had to get out to all of those spots. I had to go everywhere. I had to build with everybody. I had to go to the poetry spots. I had to go to the hip-hop spots. I went to the open mics. I went to the shows. I went to all of those spots. That's why like, when you listen to Mo 2, right, I really wanted to identify myself as all of those things. That's why, like, I had to do some poetry on there. I'm one-man army, but I'm not always on some one-man army battle shit. Sometimes I'm on some love shit. Sometimes I want to tell a story. Sometimes I want to just tell a story. Sometimes I just want to get really, like, abstract or whatever. And so it was really important for me to identify myself in all of those ways, but not just that, also as a producer. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I was curious as well, too, because I actually never realized till recently when I was, just going through checking credits and stuff, that, like, you produced, you produced KGB, Reality Check, Honest Expression. I was curious, what was your weapon of choice to produce back in those days?
Back in those days, a friend of mine, we was making beats in his basement.
Yeah.
And we all had, like, we had a production team that we called Hell Hostage Production, but D.O. Jones, he had an SP1200. You know, I remember doing, like, drums and sometimes, like, mostly drums on the SP1200. And the S950 had a rack mount S950, a Kai S950.
Yep.
And it was a rolling keyboard. We would do the bass lines on that. And it was all minied up. So, like, he had a classic rig. So we would go to his basement and kind of do our production. Pose would take records over there, and like we didn't have our own gear, so we would chop up our beats over there. Like we would go over there. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yo, sorry, you cut out there a bit.
Yeah. Me and Decompose, we would take our records over there, and sometimes me and Decompose, we would go over there for like 4 or 5 hours and write, and like we would just try to make as many beats as we could in those 4 or 5 hours. So sometimes Decompose would make 2, I would make 2.
Yeah.
He would make a beat, I would make a beat, and he would make another one, I would make another one. And a lot of those beats got made on the same day. Like I remember I went to the studio one time by myself, and I came back with Fellowship, One Man Army, and the KGB. And like other beats too, but like
holy shit,
I made all of those in one day.
That's
but, like,
crazy.
I didn't have gear, but I had records though. So I would listen to the records, and we would put our samples on tape, and we would roll around listening to our samples on tape. So when we did get to the studio, we knew exactly what we wanted to chop. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, like the production on that album, like like I said, I caught on you guys later, right? And I'm a little bit younger, so I had to go back and research hip hop. But I can't lie. First time I heard Reality Check, I thought it was primo, like the way it hit. You know what I mean? But then
wow, that's crazy.
Over time of listening to it, I'm like, yo, that bass line at the beginning, that's not like Preem though. And this, like, you catch after listening to it a few times the differences, right? But you just breaking that down, I thought that was dope because like now that you say that, the drums sound crispy, like they sound like they were done with the SP. But then like to say you had the bass lines you were doing on the keyboard and shit, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like the production all like it kind of makes sense now. You know what I mean? Like it paints it out for me. That's dope. That's dope.
And those tracks were really minimal. Like a lot of those tracks were like 8-track beats. It was like a kick, snare, hi-hat, bass line, sample. You know what I mean? And we was just, I'm like an MC producer. So for me, it was about like just laying a little foundation so I could just rap on that shit and just get all acrobatical with the words, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, like honestly, phenomenal work on that. Like that's hip hop right there that will stand that will stand in its place in time forever. Like it does not sound dated. It sounds like, man, I show honest expression to anybody. You know what I mean? I can show those tracks. Sorry, continue.
So much went into that record, man, and it's like I remember. So here's the thing. Like, I don't talk about prison because I like to talk about prison. I talk about it because it really played a huge impact in like that time period and what was happening with us, right?
Yeah.
So around that time, from 96, 97, 98, 99, I was on parole.
Yeah.
So because I was on parole, I couldn't even leave the state of Michigan. You get what I'm saying?
That's crazy. And
on top of that, I had a 10:30 curfew.
Oh,
and on top of
shit.
that, I had a 10:30 curfew, so I had to be in the house by 10:30 p.m. I couldn't really go to hip hop shows or nothing like that. I still did, but I had to sneak and do it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for 3 years, I was on parole. So why do I bring this up? Because I remember during that time, a lot of people were saying stuff like, yo, you got to go to Atlanta. You got to go to New York. You got to go to LA if you want to make it. And like, I couldn't leave and go anywhere. So I was thinking, yo, if everybody's going to leave, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to kill this shit. Like, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to rep. I'm going to rep all over this spot. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed being from Pontiac, like, everybody would say their city, you know what I mean? Everybody would be like, Detroit, like, you know, they would go to Flint and scream Detroit. Flint dudes would come to Pontiac and rep Flint. Pontiac dudes would go to Detroit and rep Pontiac. And, like, you know, that's cool. But, like, a lot of times it was kind of like a distraction, like, for other people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we don't give a fuck where you from. So I was like, you know what? I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? I'm going to say Waterworld. Because when I go to Flint and rep Waterworld, Flint is Waterworld, Detroit is Waterworld, Pontiac is Waterworld, Ann Arbor's Waterworld. Like, everybody put your mitts up. We rep it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? Wu-Tang, I said the UMCs, they're from Staten Island. The UMCs are from Staten Island, but Wu-Tang Clan is from Shaolin.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan is from Shaolin. It's like, so that's how I started thinking about Waterworld. And then I'm like, you know what? Chicago is Waterworld. I'm like, technically the whole earth is Waterworld. But I said, like, when I represent Waterworld, that's basically representing everybody, but I'm still representing, like, where I'm from.
Yeah.
So make a long story short, we would start doing these shows and screaming Waterworld, Waterworld. This is before the album even came out. We didn't even have an album. We just had like a song here, a couple songs, and just doing shows here and there, right?
Yeah.
People would start coming to shows with their oven mitts, and people was talking about Waterworld. And then one time, when we got off parole, one of our first shows in Chicago, this is where we met Juice. We went to Chicago, and we was in this record store called Gramophone, and I remember having this epiphany. I was like, yo, we got to put out a compilation album, and we got to call it Waterworld.
Word.
I said, we got to call it Waterworld so people know where the word came from, because not everybody, but certain people started saying Waterworld, and I was like, yo, we got to rep Waterworld so people know where it came from, but let's get our whole entire crew on this thing. And, like, we didn't have an album. We just all had, like, different songs. So, like, me, I had a couple songs. Glenn Close was a song. I had a song, Evolution of Man. I had One Man Army. Decompose had a couple songs. Ross had Slang Blade. I didn't have songs from AML, but I had a song with them.
Yeah.
And I had another song with Malachi. And I had another song with Juice and Elza on it. So I'm like, yo, let's slap all these songs together, and it'll be our Michigan compilation album, and we'll put this out, and we'll raise money to like put out a real album.
Yeah.
And so when we put out Waterworld, like people kind of thought it was our album. They thought it was a Binary Star album, and I'm like, oh shit, like they think this is our album, and this ain't even our album. This is like a compilation album with all of our crew, like all of our friends and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I say all of that to say, like, you know, it was really just doing shit that I thought was dope. We just was doing shit we thought was dope. I didn't know how people was gonna take it. I just thought it made sense. You know what I mean? So when people said it like Evolution of Man, I'm like, damn, I never, you know. Some people didn't think that we should do the poetry on the album. You get what I'm saying? But It was like I had to do that because I didn't want to do like Cannabis and be battling for 3 albums, and then when I come back with some poetry or whatever, people like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Trying to do love now, like, you know what I'm saying? So you know, I wanted to try to, you know, like express myself in a balanced kind of way. Like, yeah, I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that, I do a little bit of this. And we all kind of did that. We all kind of like bounced around a little, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of explored that further on my own projects, you know, just put out more conceptual albums, you know, or, you know, even just my discography just being like a concept in itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just put out an audio book that basically takes everything and kind of like puts it into this like universe. So it's kind of like it's like the art of survival. That's the best way I could put it.
That's the Luma, right?
Say it again.
The Luma?
Yeah, the Luma. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man. Now I thought that was interesting too. That you know, you do audiobooks and stuff. How can people find the audiobook if they want to check that out?
Right now, excuse me. Right now, the audiobook is on my Bandcamp page.
Okay.
There's a link on my Bandcamp page. You can go there. You can read the lyrics. You can read the story. There's a glossary. You can listen to it for free, basically, and decide if you want to buy it or not. You know what I mean? Download it. But yeah, eventually I'm going to add it to the other platforms. I just wanted to go Bandcamp first because, you know, it's a different type of support system over there. But yeah, I'm just rolling it out slowly, man. It's literally like a universe of shit. So it's like I'm rolling it out slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And looking forward to doing it too because I put a lot of work into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the concept behind it?
Basically, the name of the story is called The Luma. The Letters of One Man Army, and you know, the fastest way I can describe it is like it's basically about a planet called Waterworld.
Yeah.
And there's 2 suns that shine on the planet. There's a blue sun and there's a yellow sun. So there's a binary star system.
Okay.
And the sun shine on the planet and everything is green and it's growing and everything. And then the first in the ancient world, the first empire is Kush.
Yeah.
So it basically explains the backstory it explains the backstory of the KGB. So in the story, the KGB is the Kush governing body, and like, you know, the greatest pharaohs, they ruled the land, and then once upon a time there was a supernova, and when the supernova happens, the blue sun supernovas, and people start freaking out because now there's only one sun. Now the sun sets, and for the first time, people see darkness. So now they can see the sun. I mean, they can see moon and stars. Astrology is born, astronomy is born, all these different cults and religions are born. And this is where the Wolfman comes on the scene. And the Wolfman, he gets his power from the moon, and he controls the Conquistador army. And so the Conquistador army, they go out and they raid all these different villages, and they kidnap this boy named Wonder, and they take him back to Bird Island. And when he's in Bird Island, he's feeling all depressed because his brother Augie just got killed, his grandmother Yasni just got killed, you know what I mean? So he's on Bird Island. And then he meets E.T., and she helps him escape from Bird Island through these subterraneous tunnels, and they go back to Kush. And when they get to the Trackers Way temples, that's when he reads the prophecies, and he learns that he's the one-man army. And when he learns that he's the one-man army, then they go off, and they gotta take the slang lava, and they go and they forge the slang blade, and then they gotta go to the black hole, and they basically gotta go meet the 2-headed dragon, and they gotta behead the 2-headed dragon. And then they come back to Waterworld, and then they go fight the Wolfman, and they kill the Wolfman. I mean, that's just a nutshell, but it's a lot of symbols and metaphors, but all I did is I took all of my songs and turned them into a universe. So E.T., Rocket Ship, 2-Headed Dragon, Black Holes, the universe, the Wolfman, you know, Supernova, all of these different, the evil itself, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the words are flipped backwards. So like Margonos is the name of the dragon, but like Margonos is sonogram backwards. Yeah. All I'm doing is taking the legends of One Man Army and I'm putting them into a story. So it's basically the art of survival, man.
That's super dope.
Some people survive a black hole and they live to tell. Some people survive a black hole and they live to tell about it. You know what I mean? Or some people survive a supernova and they live to tell about it. But I'm using all these characters to tell the story about life. But you know, yeah, it's all songs though. You know, and I got board games and I got like my own scripts and I got like characters and all this kind of shit. It's like a world, man. So, you know, I'm excited about it, man. But yeah, thanks for asking too.
Yeah, no, that's super dope. Actually, that's super interesting. I'm really intrigued by like early world history and stuff too. So I like how you took that angle with it and kind of created a story in that pocket of time. Like to me, that's super interesting.
Yeah, because you know, I live in Cairo, and originally I was going to have the story like, you know, this guy, he's on a quest, he goes to Egypt, he goes to the pyramids, he finds this box, whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, man, like, we already know about the pyramids in Giza, but there's other pyramids, there's other temples and other places around here.
Yeah.
And that's when I started shifting my focus, and then I said, Kush. And then I came up, you know, like, Kush is not an original idea, but it's like, you know, I'm shouting out the original kingdom of Kush and that whole kind of thing and celebrating it in a fantastic kind of way. And merging it with Waterworld, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, there is like a lot of history element. You know, parts of the story take place in the rainforest. Parts of the story take place in space. So, like from an educational standpoint, there's just a lot of words and a lot of things that, you know, you can't study it as fact, but it's like, you know, like some of the greatest fiction is based on like reality. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, hands down. And as well too before
and, you know, I made all of the beats. So the Luma is like, it's like 5 parts, and it's the total running time is like 2 hours and like 15 minutes or something like that. But it's 77 tracks.
Holy shit!
And I made all of the beats, and so the Legend of One Man Army. So technically, it's like 5 instrumental albums with me like doing spoken word on it. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
I'm calling it an audio book, but that's really like yeah, it's like I'll just put out 5 albums, basically. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's really cool, man. So is it like does it rhyme as well too, like spoken word, or is it just like the story, but you created instrumentals for like each chapter?
The whole thing rhymes, bro.
That's crazy.
The whole thing rhymes.
Holy shit, man. That's actually incredibly innovative.
Cool because it's like, you know, and it's like it's not annoying, you know. It's like it's kind of like, you know, if you're reading, you might not know it rhymes because you might not know the pattern of it. But if you read it out loud, I think it's fun if you read it out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because without even beats, it rhymes. There's a pattern to it. You know, there's a cadence and a rhythm to the words, even without the beats, you know. So even if you was reading it, it would be like, in the beginning and before the fall was the one and all. With no time to start, the word be was called and many creations installed. Actually, all was supposed upon a galaxy there were 2 suns shining at full capacity. A binary star system trafficking mutual gravity around a water world planet with it. You know, it's like, it's rhyming like that, you know what I mean? But it's like, but I'm telling stories though. Stories on stories on stories, you know what I mean?
Oh man, that's super cool. That's like, that is so innovative, man. I can't think of anyone who's ever done anything even remotely similar to that. Like, that's super dope, man.
Nah, man, it's I mean, you know, people wrote books before. People, you know, we got audio books, but it's like, yeah, man, when you know, it's a lot for people to digest. That's why I gotta like create like a universe around it. You know what I mean? But the people who just want to hear some beats, like, it's just beats. Or if you just want to like do some word search puzzles, it's just that. You know, if you just want to listen to the story, or if you want to read it, you know, I just want to like, it's like a multimedia kind of project, but I'm just unrolling it like one piece at a time. So it's gonna come together. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's exciting, man.
How long did
Definitely.
it take you to put this together?
If you get a chance to check it out on Bank. So it's funny because check this out. So I always wanted to write a comic book called One Man Army. Like, you know, I got this character that's 20 years old. Like, I've been talking about putting out this book, right?
Yeah.
So, not last year, but last year or the year before last year, I told my kids when I was in Cairo, I said, yo, I got this idea. I'm going to take all of these songs, I'm going to make a story, and I'm giving myself 10 days to write it. So they were like, okay. So I said, I'm going to give myself 10 days to write this story. And so I jumped on a plane and from Cairo to Detroit, I think. Or no, it was Cairo to Seattle. I wrote half the story on the flight. And when I landed in the States, I was sending them like paragraphs, like, yo, check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out. And then on the flight back, I wrote the other half of the story, like really like the backstory. So I wrote this whole thing on a plane. You get what I'm saying? Holy. And I wrote the whole thing on a plane, and then and you know, like the other stuff, like, you know, the illustrations and stuff kind of came later. So when you ask me how long did it take me to put it together, I mean, I wrote it on 2 flights. That's insane. Now, if you're asking me how long did it take to record the audio, if you're asking me how long did it take to record the audio, I recorded that over a couple of weeks at a time because, you know, I was like traveling and recording in different cities on my mic, you know what I mean? So. Yeah. And I was like, literally, it's funny because I was making all these beats on IG Live, just making beats, just inspired to make beats. And I had no idea that I was going to read the story over all of these beats. So when I started reading the story, like the whole thing is like 2 hours long, and I'm like, oh, I can't have one beat playing. I got to have a couple beats playing. And so I started feeding beats to the story. And I'm like, oh shit, like how many beats? And yeah, man, it's like 77 beats. Holy shit, man. You know, parts of it's depressing. Some, you know, it's like a soundtrack, you know. Some parts of it is really like happy and shit. Some of it's really, I think it sets the mood, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, I went in all the ad-libs in the audio is from songs. So like, when you'll hear like different parts of songs. It's pretty dope, man. It's like I'm really happy to even be able to share it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. That's like the artistry behind you explaining it to me. Now I'm excited to finish the interview because then on my way home I'm literally popping Bandcamp on. I'm gonna start listening to that shit. Like that sounds dope, man. It's perfect. It's perfect for people who commute because, like I said, the whole thing comes in 5 parts. Yeah. So part 1, instead of part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's called single, double, triple, quadruple, and quintuple. Okay. And that shout out to the double essays. So it comes in 5 essays, and they're all like 25 minutes apiece, like, you know, 23, 24 minutes. So if you listen to part 1, I mean, it's literally like about 22 minutes, and then you can listen to that more than once. So you can go to part 2. Part 2 is like 24 minutes. Part 3 is like 22, 23 minutes. Part 4 and part 5 is like 42 minutes. Oh, so you don't have to listen to it at like 2 hours. You can listen to it in pieces if you want and digest it, man. But because it's like 5 albums. Yeah. You know, and like you can listen to the whole thing as one story, or you can like pick favorite beats, you know what I mean? You can like learn the backstory, or you can listen to it in any kind of order. But yeah, man, I'm gonna put out the audio book first, and then I'm gonna drop an instrumental version of it where people can just listen to the beats. Ah, that's dope. That's real dope. Yeah, man, I really like that idea. That's super innovative. I'm excited. And the illustrations, all the illustrations, Naeem did the illustration. This dude is like, he was 15 when he started, but he's like a 15, 16-year-old like illustrator, and he illustrated he didn't illustrate the maps or the constellations, but he illustrated all the graphics, like all the characters, the dragon, the two-headed dragon, the sword.
Wow.
You know, E.T., Wonder, he illustrated the characters. So, yeah, this kid is 16 years old, man. He's like the future, man. He's pretty dope.
Yo, that's crazy, man.
And another friend of mine, Severa, her name is Art Savvy. That's her handle on IG. She illustrated the maps and the constellations. Like, those tell their own story. I mean, it's a lot of different parts. So, you know, it's like there's text. I got my own scripts, like my own little, like, hieroglyphs. There's characters, there's constellations. So you could look at it. You could look at a picture of space, and just in that picture, you see the universe. You see the slang blade. You see the one-man army. You see the ET. You see Binary Star. You see Water Road. But all you see is stars. It's there because the universe is so vast. It's crazy how this story is told, man. It's really the art of survival, man. You really, I think people would be doing themselves a favor, like just in the name of hip hop, to even just experience something like this at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Like that is like. I'm actually blown away, like when you
I don't want to be the one to say it though. I want other people to check it out. I mean, kind of like with Master of the Universe, we just kind of put it out and kept it moving.
Yeah.
And it's people like you that's telling other people, like, yo, you got to hear this album. You got to check it out. So, because that's my experience, I put my faith in hip hop and the underground, and like who supported when I only had a 12-inch. I put my faith in the NE 500, man. Like. If you build it, they will come. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna plant the seed and like watch it grow. It's been growing. This is not the beginning of it. I'm just basically continuing, you know, the saga. The saga continues. You know, this is just a different form. You know, like a different part of the movement. Literally like the next chapter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's dope, man. And for the people, let them know as well how they like because you said it's available only on Bandcamp right now, right?
Yeah, right now it's available on Bandcamp. You know, and some people are gonna say, "What about Apple? What about Spotify?" It's gonna come there soon. You know what I mean? And like, but yeah, like, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but like when you go to Bandcamp, you know, you can support the artist by downloading the music and actually buying, not just streaming. You know what I mean?
And it's direct artist to fan.
You know, want to support. Exactly. So that's why I kind of those people like a preference, you know, no shades to people that streaming on those platforms, because those platforms are good as well, you know. But that's why I chose Bandcamp first. Like, you know, I could post the lyrics, I could post the glossary, I could post all these things. Another thing with Bandcamp too is I can set my own prices, right?
Yep.
So right now, part one is on sale for $1. Part 2 is on sale for $2. Part 3 is on sale for $3. 4 is $4, and 5 is $5. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just people can kind of like spend whatever they want to spend. But like I said, even if you don't want to buy it, do yourself a favor and go listen to it at least once, man. It's like it's nothing like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's free to just listen to it. You know. But yeah, it's gonna eventually. So I put it on Bandcamp first. I'm gonna put it on the music streaming sites as an album first, and then I'm gonna go to Audible and Amazon and all that as an audio book. But like, you know, I look at it as a book, but I'm also a recording artist, and so I wanted to be true to that, like that tradition, like the oral tradition and the recording tradition. That's why it was important for me to even like make the beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of that, when you listen to the audio book, it's not just the story, the effects, the production, the beats, all of that's Deluma. It's all One Man Army. It's all the soundtrack, the mix. I mean, and D. Will out of Kansas City, Conductor Williams, he did the mastering. But yeah, you know, it's just the art of survival. It's all art. It's multimedia. I got board games and like I got a double essays board game coming soon. Yeah, man, it's just all rhymes transformed into songs and stories and games and cards and audiobooks and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's super dope, man. I really like that a lot. I'm excited to check that out too.
And it's crazy because like, so all the questions you asked me just now in the interview, I talk about all of this stuff in the Luma, but it's in a biographical. So like even like I know how to catch bird sings. Like there's a bird island in the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, like that kind of thing, but it takes all of those songs and it flips them into characters. So like you know, asking me how it, and I'm not really talking about anybody in specific. I'm not talking about, there's a character named Pose, but you know what I mean? Like the character is totally sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like there's a character, and like really all of these characters are really one person. You know, these characters are really one man army. You feel what I'm saying? It's really like one person. All the characters represent one person. But like the many dimensions of a person and how you deal with like, you know, there's themes. So there's like a man versus nature theme. There's a man versus beast theme in there. There's a duality, like, you know, there's a man, you know, man versus self theme. There's a man versus woman theme in here. Like, there's many different things. There's a dark versus light. There's good versus evil. You know, there's all these different dualities and different things that represent binary dualities and binary stars and a binary system. It's just a lot of symbols and a lot of metaphors. So, you know, on the surface, it's just beats and rhyme shit, you know, but like if you want to get deep, it's history, it's philosophy, you know, it's it's a journey, yo. It's definitely an epic journey, you know.
That's super dope, man. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Now I'll keep you posted too as I peep what I think about it, but it sounds super interesting, man. Like I'm excited to check this. And that's one thing I like about you as an artist, man, is that it's just innovative, you know what I mean? It's inspiring, like you know what I mean?
I mean, to me that's what art is. I mean, that's my job as an artist. I don't speak on other artists and what artists should be doing in general. I just know for me, I'm always learning, always creating, and always, you know, working on that canvas. Whether I'm making beats or whether I'm writing or whether I'm drawing or cooking food or whatever it is, and you know, just trying to feed my whole self. And all of that self is me as a self. Like, you know, I'm not just an artist. Like when I cook, right, or when I travel or whatever, all those things impact my art. Everything I read impacts my art. Sports, working out impacts my art, you know. But not just my art, like me as a human, me as a person, me as a friend, me as a brother, me as a, you know, a neighbor. And so I like to think in a way where like everything's connected, you know. I'm always paying attention. I don't like to count anything as insignificant, you know. And so the same thing with my art. I'm really big on details, you know, like you know, and there's just different layers to the words, you know, because words mean so many different things. So I'm really, you know, I don't mind if people don't get it the first 1 or 2 or 3 listens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if the people don't want to go past that, that's fine. But like for the people that do, they're gonna enjoy it again and again and again because I put a lot of work into it. It's a lot of layers, you know what I mean? A lot of details.
Yeah.
For the people who appreciate that, you know?
Dope, man. Super dope. And yeah, man, like just it's super inspiring, man, just to see that level of artistry. And that's one thing I also appreciate about you as an artist is the detail, you know what I mean? The detail and the lyrics, the structure, just the way it's worded. Like you're so well spoken when you're trying to get a certain point across too. But there's one song I actually wanted to ask you about. Your joint Rabbit Food. What inspired you to write that? Because I love that shit, man. It's so clever the way you twisted it. But like, were you just walking through like the produce section one day and you're like, yo, like how'd you come up with that idea?
So it's funny because originally I wrote a song called Beef.
Yeah.
And I have a song called Beef, and I wrote wrote it to this track, and it's, you know, I took all of these beef words and I said, yo, I want to write a song about beef, but I don't want to sound like a nerd. I don't want to sound like, oh, whatever. So it took me a minute, but I came up with this song called Beef. And I was on the road around that time, and when I got to Oakland, I got to my boy's crib, Unjust, and he made the original beat for, I think, Rabbit Food or Wildebeest. Anyways, when I was at his crib, I was listening to Beef, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, man? These rappers don't want no beef, man. Nobody wants, like, a lot of people don't even eat beef. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to serve y'all for some vegetables. Like, it was funny because it was like a joke to myself. But I challenged myself. I was like, yo, I just sat here and wrote about all this beef. Now I'm about to sit here and write about all vegetables. And so I remember like that day they had like a barbecue at the crib, and like I'm at the house, and like all these people were over there like eating barbecue and partying, and I was sitting in the corner. I sat in the corner for like 10 hours writing this shit, yo.
Say word.
Because I couldn't stop until I finished it. And yeah, and I just wrote Rabbit Food, and I was like, yo, I gotta do this because they don't want beef, so I'm gonna give them vegetables.
Man.
And yeah, so Rabbit Food kind of spawned up. Rabbit Food spawned off of beef, though. That's what happened.
That's dope, man. I just love the concept and the way you use the words too, like the "let us begin" and just like the way that you twisted the words in it is just, it's so fucking clever, man. You know what I mean? Like it's lyricism on another tier.
Yeah, man.
You know
Thanks
what
for
I mean?
listening, man.
And another thing I was
Thanks
curious
for
about
picking
too.
that up, man. And
Yeah.
it's funny because. Oh, say it again.
Oh no, sorry. Continue. I was just gonna. I got another question after.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's funny because the day I recorded that video, it was during Ramadan.
Oh yeah.
So there's parts in the video where it's like I was spitting shit out because I wasn't trying to eat it. I wasn't trying to like whatever. And I wasn't trying to waste food, but it was like, you know what I mean? It was just a funny scenario because it was all off the top.
Yeah.
It wasn't scripted. It was like, you know how my daughter's that day, and I was like, yo, you know what? Let's just go and just see what we come up with. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting to see how that video came out, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, man, it's all about the wordplay. I like playing with words, you know what I mean, for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, it was very well done. I like the way you guys did the video too. I thought it was just a perfect contrast to the song. But I was curious too, because Nick Speed produced that, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Nick produced it. Yup.
How did you and Nick Speed hook up?
The day I was going to shoot the video. The day I was going to shoot the video, I hit up Speed. I was like, "Yo, Speed, let's go shoot this video." I was like, "You be the dude, you be the meat dude, and I be the vegetable dude." Like, cause I wanted to go to the store and be like, he be the guy trying to put like meat in the cart, and I would be like, "Yo, we should get vegetables." But he was like, "Yo, I got something to do, man. Just knock that out." Yeah, I've been knowing Speed like 20 plus years, man.
Oh shit. Okay.
I've been knowing Speed 20 plus years, just from the scene. You know, like he used to. I remember around the time we had the new hip hop EP. Him and Majestic Legend used to be up at St. Andrews, and you know, they had a group called 9 to 5 Colony. They eventually like incorporated Elzai to their crew. But yeah, man, I think they was like fresh out of high school around that time, and that's when I met Speed. I've been knowing Speed like, yeah, man, since like at least 99 or 2000 or something like that.
Oh shit. Crazy. Yeah, man. I love that joint. And you know, unfortunately, because the show's only an hour long, we're already pushing it. So I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna span it over 2 episodes. But I would love to get you back on the show again too, because there's so much history and so many projects of yours I'd like to talk about. So if you're game to do it again too, man, I'd love to get you on the show again in the future.
For sure, man.
But one thing I did want to ask too before we do wrap it up.
I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, thanks.
Yo, no doubt, man. One thing I did want to ask about though is because like when you guys first came out, you wanted to be an anonymous rapper, right? Like you didn't want to have a name. You wanted to just kind of be a dude who was a good rapper but didn't really have a face.
Yeah, man. It's funny that you bring that up. I'm listening. Where you going with this?
Yeah, so I was just kind of curious because I mean I understand that from the artist point of view, and you know it's like let the music speak for itself kind of thing. But like all these years later now, like 20 plus years later from dropping the initial stuff, are you glad now that you that you did create the identity? Like, do you think you'd be happy now 20 years later being anonymous?
Okay, so let me explain this as quick as I can because I know we're short on time.
All right.
So my title is the Anonymous.
Yeah.
My title is the Anonymous. It's a concept. I don't call myself the Anonymous because if I did, I wouldn't be the Anonymous. You know what I'm saying? So I am the Anonymous. But one way I remain the Anonymous is by putting out General Subliminal, One Below, One Man Army, Who Is He, King Wasabi, Mr. High, Boy Wonder. Like, all of those are the characters in the Luma as well, right?
Yeah.
So, once upon a time, I was blurring my face out. I was changing my name on all the songs so I could be the Anonymous. Sometimes I'm One Below. Sometimes I'm One Man Army. Sometimes I'm this person.
Yeah.
And then my original intention was to put out an album with different artists. Like, one day I'm gonna put out an album as One Below. Then I'm gonna put out an album as One Man Army. Then I'm gonna put out an album as, you know, General Subliminal and so on, right?
Yeah.
So my first installment was Project Fetus, One Below. That was the first time I used the name, and like people started calling me One Man Army, and I was like, why are people calling me One Man Army? Like that's not my name. That's not my name. My name. But I realized, like, oh, okay, from the Binary Star album, I say it's the One Man Army, General Subliminal. So I think that's why people call me One Man Army.
Yeah.
But the reason why I rolled with that. The reason why I decided to ride with that, because I was like, it doesn't betray my concept. Like, it is an army of one man. Like, it's still the Anonymous.
Yeah.
It's still One Man Army.
You just don't know which man you're getting.
It's still all of those things.
Yeah.
Right. So by the time I got the Fat Beats, and they were like, yo, it's another group out here called One Man Army. Like, yo, let's pick a different name. I was like, oh, shit, I don't even want to pick a name because I didn't even have a name, but I was going as One Man Army, but that wasn't even my name either. But I'm like, man, I got to pick another name. That's going to be weird. And then I was like, oh, shit, I already put out a project as One Below, so I'll just run with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still kind of weird to me that people call me One Below because it's not really my name either. You know, it's like all of these are titles. One Below, One Man Army. Like the Anonymous, like none of those are my name. Like all of those are titles, but it's like because I'm all of those people. Like I don't mind people calling me any one of those names, but I am the Anonymous. I am, you know. So when my album came out with Fat Beats, S.O.N.O.G.R.A.M, on my first single, the Rocket Ship single, you see it says One Below, the artist formerly known as One Man Army of Binary Star. That's what it says on the single. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not the artist formerly known as One Man Army. I'm always gonna be One Man Army. So when you look at the other singles, it says One Below, also known as One Man Army from Binary Star. But I just thought that shit was funny. Because they were like, formerly known. I'm like, no, I'm not formerly known. I'm always gonna be known as One Man Army. I'm always gonna be known as the Anonymous.
Yeah.
And if I'm not known as the Anonymous, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if I don't have a crew rolling with me, that's why I'm the One Man Army.
Yep.
If I'm not on top of the world, that's why I'm One Below. Like, if you don't know who I am, that's why I'm Who Is He. That's why I'm Mystery Man. That's why I'm Mr. High. But I just want to make music and just make art and, like, you know, and, like, it's not that I want to do it. That's just what I do, you know? And I'm an artist, man. And, like, whether I'm famous or not, like, I'm always going to make art and put my love and my soul into it, my compassion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I think it's cool, man. Like, just the whole idea of being the Anonymous, like, that's just a cool concept. And Like, because a lot of artists do.
Thanks for asking that question, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, because I find a lot of artists like you do, like they have their one kind of moniker, their name or their who they are, and then like have like aliases and stuff. But I like how like your approach, you're like, oh, well, I'm the anonymous. I'm all of these things. You know what I mean? It's like you just don't know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like if I say I'm the anonymous, then you're gonna be like, it's you.
Yeah.
And then I'm not anonymous no more. So I remain the anonymous by being all of these different things at different times. And like people are like, oh, I didn't know you made beats, but you was feeling that shit though. And that's more important to me than like, yeah, of course I want you to spell my name right. Of course I want you to know who I am. Like don't credit somebody who don't deserve it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if my shit's dope, you're gonna find out where I'm from because you want to know that anyway. Like that's people want to know where the shit came from.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's more important that people can feel it. You know, and I know what branding does. I know like the importance of branding and all of that. But like I said, man, for me, it's just a concept. And yeah, man, you know, some people are gonna discover it late, but like enjoy it whenever you find it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. Like I really like that. Like that's another thing I like about you as an artist is just like every level from your name and just all the way up to even like what you just did with the audiobook and stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? You really truly represent what it is to be an artist, and I think a lot of people do get lost in that in today's hip hop through everything like branding and all these other things. Like a lot of people, even if they make music they want to make, they're pigeonholed on an industry level by a bunch of different things that's really not allowing them to step outside of that box to create and be them. Real. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that about you.
And I don't say this to come off in a self-righteous kind of way, like I'm doing it like this and they're not or whatever, because everybody just do shit differently. Yeah. Like for whatever reason they do it for. So it's not about me. I'm just doing it the way that I want to do it. Nobody controls me. Nobody owns me. Like, so I want to be true to my craft and I want to be true to my capability. I don't want to be true to somebody's expectations. I want to be true to myself and true to my art. You know what I mean? And so that's what I strive to do. And if other people want to do it for those reasons, I think, like I don't see nothing wrong with streaming your music and getting on a playlist and having a helicopter blow up in the video and all that kind of shit. But like after all of that, what does the music sound like? You know what I mean? Yeah. And lately I hear a lot of artists talking about like all these different techniques and all of the all the tricks they're doing. But it's like if you ask people how do they feel about the music, they're like, the song was okay. Yeah. But it was some baddies in the video, or they shot it in Brazil, or the camera angle was, and it's like, yo, that's cool. And I'm not hating that, but like for me, I don't want to be heard. I want to make something that people want to hear. I don't want to, like, I know a lot of artists that's like, oh man, I just want people to hear my music. I just want to be heard. I don't want to be heard. Like, if you want to be heard, maybe you'll do anything to be heard. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, if I want to be the best, I'm in control of being the best artist that I can be. Yeah. I'm not in control of if you hear me or not, but I am in control of like making sure that I put quality time and effort into my craft, and that's what I want to do. I want to be the best artist that I can be. Not on somebody's list. I don't care about a list. I don't care about an opinion. I just care about, striving to be the best artist I can be and being able to look myself in the mirror and know that I represented 110% every single time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a jewel right there, man. I think that's something that a perspective that a lot of artists could really learn from too. That could really, I think on the counter of it, that's why there's such a lack of creativity, at least in popular hip-hop now. You know what I mean? The underground will always be the underground. There'll always be creative stuff there. There'll always be good music there. But on a more glorified level, there's not a whole lot of originality in the game right now. And I think, a lot of artists could really benefit from really kind of having your perspective like that. Well,
for me, man, I mean, like, I I mean, we all live in the same world. So for me to say, like, you know, when Canadians breathe the air, it smells like this. But when Americans breathe it, like, we're all breathing the same air.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one world, right? Now, there's different you know, people separate this shit into genres and subcultures and all that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, if you find some music inspiring or you find a dope artist, man, just fuck with that. I don't think about all the stuff I don't listen to or who's not original. Man, I know a lot of artists. I know a lot of original artists, and like, man, I celebrate that. And it's been that since day one of hip hop. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about what other people are not doing or how whack they are. I'm just thinking about what inspires me. And like, man, I just really feed off of that. Same way with food, you know?
Yeah. I
don't walk in I don't walk in the grocery store and then walk down the aisles, you know, like hating on the cereal shit and hating on all the corn syrup and the pork products. I just don't even that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and focus on that good energy. And like, to me, that's contagious. You know what I mean? Like, good energy is contagious, you know what I mean? Like, you know, even over popularity, you know what I mean? Because after a while, popular shit is like, I'm kind of tired, you know what I mean? But like, what's going to feed me, you know, on a personal level, you know?
Yeah.
So some of your favorite songs or some of the things that impact people the most, they might not even remember the name of it or where it came from, but that doesn't stop them from being impacted by it. So like,
that's
what kind of impact do your words or your work or your actions leave behind? You know, what kind of impact do you have on people, you know? So, yeah, you know, and that's the impact that y'all have on me. The world around me helps me to produce that, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to share what I have, you know, because, yeah, it doesn't even come from me. It comes from everything around me, and I just kind of, like, put it in a gumbo, you know what I'm saying?
Word. Yeah, man. And you know, like I said, like I would love to get you back on the show again. But we're gonna have to, you know, I got one question to ask all my artists that I do want to finish it off with. But before I get to the last question, it's just a generic one we ask everyone. But let everybody know how they can find you online as well. Like, let them know the Bandcamp and you know, if they want to hit you up for, you know, any business inquiries.
Yeah, check it out, yo. Yeah, you know, you can follow me on Spotify, One Below on Spotify, ONEBELO, and also Binary Star. But I have more projects on Bandcamp as well. That's onebelow.bandcamp.com. You know, you can follow me on Instagram, 1B007. Also Binary Star Music and the Luma book. All of those are pages, you know what I'm saying? You can follow, check out the Luma, what's happening with Binary Star Music. I'm also on Twitter, One Below. And yeah, you know, for the people who fuck with Facebook, I'll be on there sometimes too. But I'm mostly on IG and, you know, sometimes Twitter. But like, yeah, man, you know, all the other streaming platforms, and I'm soon going to be on Audible. So just keep looking out for One Below.
All right, man.
ONEBELO.
Hey. And so the last question that I got for you is one that we ask every artist we interview. But you're familiar with Mortal Kombat, I assume.
Okay.
If your lyrical style could be transformed into a Mortal Kombat finishing move, like of your choice, like you pick what it does, but what would it do to your opponent?
It would probably... I think that my finishing move would probably... Damn, that's a good question, yo. I want to have a good one, you know what I'm saying? What would it do to my opponent? I'm thinking that, you know, something simple like maybe like their brain would explode or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe like not even explode, but like I'm thinking like they would like turn into like a different thing or something. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like turn into a different like creature or something. Like, I don't know, some kind of animal or some shit.
Word up. Completely transform them.
Yeah, you know, just transform them into. I was gonna say like transform them into like a not like a mirror image, but you know how like you know like because if somebody's like a fan, they kind of like take on like that artist's words or like their art or whatever. They're impacted by it. So I was thinking like some kind of like maybe like a statue or some shit.
Word.
Just freeze them like.
Word.
Some Medusa shit or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right,
Damn,
my
that
man.
was hard, man. That was a hard question, yo.
You know what, though? I like it. Some artists will just be like, I do the Liu Kane or shit. I'm like, nah, I want you to come up with something. You know what I mean? So I appreciate when an artist actually, like, it's like, damn, like, yeah, let me think about that.
Well, yeah, for real. Because it's like, oh, shit, like, fuck, like, yeah, like, then. But, yeah, originally I thought of Sub-Zero on the subterranean shit and then the one below, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to be like Sub-Zero. Like, yeah, nah, that's a good question, though, man. I like that, man. That's cool.
Word up, man.
I want to think about that again and, like, come up with my own shit for real, though. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. Well, like I said.
I should have just said, like, the slang blade, like, yeah. The fucking slang blade, like, slice or whatever. Like,
word. Or turn them into the blue star or the blue sun and have them explode into a meteor shower.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, transform him into a blue star and then he supernovas into, like, and implodes into, like, into a black hole and then sucks all the fucking weapons inside the black hole and they fuck them up even more or some shit. Like, something crazy like that. Like, where it's like, yeah, I can see that, though.
Word, man. Well, like I said, I'd love to get you on the show again, too. So, by all means, if you want to come up with a different answer for that next time, 100%, you could do that. But
yeah.
I appreciate your time, man, very much.
And then both of those characters will battle each other.
Hey. But yeah, man, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it very much, man. It's great to be able to chop it up with you, really get behind your mind in some of the music, Yeah, same
to you, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man. Next time we get up, I'm gonna ask you what your character is next time.
All right, I'll have to be ready.
What's your finishing move?
Word up, man.